All right, 5th grade. Open up in your books to page number 284. You do not need a pencil for today, but pause. All right, language books 284. I want you to look at the blue box really fast. We're going to do it together. It's learning how to diagram complements. So it's going to be a really simple thing. You're actually not really practicing it all today. You're just going to watch this lesson and yeah, that's pretty much it. I was looking at my assignment book to make sure that I knew what you were doing. Okay, so let's look at number 1, how you diagram a direct object. The sentence in number 1, and the reason you have your book open is so you can read the sentences with me, is Tonto won the race, okay? So we always start with what? When we're diagramming sentences, we do the horizontal line here. We separate it for our subject and our predicate part, and our predicate or our verb is what? Won. Who won? Tonto, okay? Start simple, subject, verb, okay? That's pretty basic. Can you see that all right? I'm just going to zoom that in just a tiny bit for you. Okay, now our direct object is what? It is race because Tonto won what? The race is our direct object. So all you do is you do kind of like a mini line here on the horizontal line where the predicate is, right after the predicate. It doesn't drop down like this line. It just stops right at the line there. And you write your direct object after. Okay? Tonto won the race. Now we still have the word the, and that acts as what? It acts as an adjective for race. Which race? The race. So if you remember, adjectives get that slanty line just like that. Okay? Pretty basic. So all you need to know is race, the direct object is, it comes right after the predicate on the line. Okay? So let's move on to learning how to diagram the indirect objects. Okay, let me just kind of move that a little bit. I know there's the glare, but this is the indirect object here. Always start with your horizontal line going across like that. The sentence is, the Lone Ranger taught the wrestler a lesson. Okay, so let's start with the verb. What is the verb? Taught. What's my subject? Lone Ranger. Okay, now we do have a direct object in this sentence that we're going to start with, and that is lesson is the direct object. What did he teach? He taught a lesson. And is an article that describes lesson, so that's an adjective. It's going to drop down from there. Same with the is another article, so that describes Lone Ranger, so we need to drop it down there. Now what we're missing is wrestler is the indirect object, okay? It tells me more about he taught who a lesson or what a lesson. He taught a wrestler a lesson. So you can kind of see it drops down like an adjective, but then it crosses over like this for wrestler because wrestler is a noun, okay? So look at that in your book if you can't quite see it here. Wrestler drops down off of an arm. It looks like an adjective, but it's not quite, okay? And then another article describing wrestler is the. So the just drops straight down off of wrestler like that. Okay, that's going to be your most complicated. Let's move down to predicate nominative, okay? Remember, a predicate nominative is a word, it's a complement that can rename the subject. So in this sentence, the Lone Ranger is a hero. Okay, hero is another name for the Lone Ranger. It's another title. So that is the predicate nominative. So let's do our horizontal line here. What is my verb? Is. Okay. My subject is Lone Ranger, but that has the article, so it is the Lone Ranger. Articles are adjectives. Drop it down that slant there. Okay, now with your predicate nominative, it's like the direct object, but not quite. It goes back. It kind of points back. If you imagine that this is an imaginary arrow, it kind of points back to the subject, slants back towards the subject so that you can remember it renames the subject. So Lone Ranger is hero, and then you just write it after the predicate like you do with the direct object, okay? So the direct object is just a straight line. The predicate nominative slants back towards the subject that it is renaming. Okay, but we do have some more articles we need to, so we did the Lone Ranger is hero. So we need to do a describes hero. So it's an adjective of hero. It's an article adjective. Okay, and the last one is the predicate adjective. So this is same thing as with your predicate nominative. The predicate adjective describes the subject, okay, but it describes it in the predicate part of the sentence. So same thing, horizontal line. Our sentence to show this one is Tonto is loyal. So our verb is, and our subject, Tonto. And the word loyal describes Tonto. It's an adjective of Tonto, but it's in the predicate part. So we can't just drop it down from Tonto. Like your predicate nominative, you're going to draw a slanted line that kind of, if you imagine, it's pointing back towards the subject. Can you see what I mean there? I hope so. Let me go in a little closer. Okay, maybe this will help. So if you can see, I like to imagine it as an arrow jumping back to say, this word is going to describe the subject. Okay, you don't draw that arrow, you just draw the slanty line right there. But the word loyal is an adjective, and it does describe Tonto, but because it's in the predicate part of the sentence, it has to be diagrammed with the predicate part of the sentence. So I hope that makes sense. I do want you to read the think back beside this mountain lion here, or this, you're going to roast me if it's not a mountain lion. Mountain lion, cougar, whatever it is. I think it's a mountain lion. Read those three bullet points, and then that is it for today. Another easy language day. You guys worked hard for it. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.